The new John Cooper Works Countryman is the most potent Mini there has ever been. Its 2-litre turbocharged engine produces 228 bhp and 350 Nm of torque, which is enough to send it to 62 miles an hour in 6.5 seconds and to a top speed of 145 miles an hour. And thanks to a longer wheelbase and a slight increase in width front and rear, it's also roomier inside. Comes with a pair of dazzling new LED headlights and has sprouted roof bars to enhance its go anywhere, do anything reputation. There is one slight problem with the new JCW Countryman, however, and that is how much it costs.
I know 30 grand sounds like an awful lot of money for a Mini, and in fact just over 32 grand with the auto gearbox with the paddle shifters. And it's got 228 horsepower, but you could say it's only got 228 horsepower. There are plenty of cars that cost 30 grand that have an awful lot more than 228 horsepower, but you do get an awful lot of kit inside the car. It is a genuine 5-seater car, no question about that. The boot is pretty big as it's ever been for a Mini. And, take it or leave it on the styling. I happen to think it looks a bit clumsy, a bit cumbersome, a little bit ugly. But, for Mini terms, it's got a lot going for it. And it is pretty good fun to drive. Especially if you find a few tunnels like this one to go back and forwards in, when it makes all these fantastic pops and bangs. Listen. I mean, that's pretty cool. And you can dial up and dial down the character and personality of the car with this little button down here. You can go sport, mid, and then green.
The Countryman you see here has the optional 8-speed automatic gearbox, which costs another 1,400 quid but does work quite nicely in practice, but only if you select sport mode. In green mode, the shifts become hopelessly slow, and even in mid mode, they're not just as crisp as we'd like them to be.
But there are some problems. Number one, it weighs pretty much 1,600 kilograms. That is not the weight that a Mini should weigh. That is the weight of a car that you would probably more accurately describe as a biggie rather than a Mini. Problem number two, I do not like the way the brake pedal is positioned in this car. It's too high, and I mean you don't, but it almost feels like my foot is about to miss the brake pedal altogether and go underneath it, because I'm only actually getting the top little bit of my feet that are getting the brake pedal. I don't like that at all. It just kind of makes you think, am I going to make a mistake into the next corner? I'm also not entirely convinced about the handling. It always feels big. It always feels completely un-Mini-like, I have to admit, in the way it kind of goes around corners. It never kind of slices into corners at all. You've got to manage the weight at all times, which is all right in a kind of normal saloon car, but it's something with a Mini badge on it. No. Also, the performance is good with very much a lowercase g. It's kind of okay in a straight line, but nothing more. They reckon it'll do 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, and the top speed is 145, 146 miles an hour. So on paper, it's more than pleasantly brisk. It's knocking on the door of being fast, but it never really feels that subjectively. What you can't knock in the Countryman JCW is the cabin quality or the amount of kit that you get in here. It feels like a proper quality, not quite an Audi Q2, which is probably this car's key rival. There's no way it feels as high class as that inside here, but everything has a really nice solid feel to it. And the goodie count is, well, way better than an Audi's at similar money. So, I don't know, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I'm not sounding that enthused about the Countryman JCW, because I'm not, frankly. But it's sort of one of these cars that you admire. And the problem is that I personally really struggle with the styling. This ain't no Mini. It's a good car, but it ain't no Mini.
So in the end, the JCW Countryman has maybe too much stuff to carry around for it to be the true athlete that Mini claims it is. With a bit less kit on board, a fair bit less weight, and a more approachable price tag, it would make more sense. But at over 30 grand and weighing well over 1600 kilograms with a driver on board, it's become something it was surely never intended to be. It's certainly hard to think of it as a Mini anymore. Click on the video windows to watch first drives of the Alfa Stelvio or Seat's excellent new Ateca. Click on the play icon to watch our latest video, or on our logo to subscribe.